The oxygen system is extremely easy to operate. On the cockpit bolster panel, you'll find a switch labeled Master Oxygen. On the aircraft status synoptic page, confirm that the oxygen bottle pressure is set at the minimum required for dispatch. Then press the Master Oxygen switch to the on position. Next, verify proper pilot mask function by actuating the Press to Test button on the front of the mask and confirm that the mask mic works over the aircraft intercom system. That's it. In addition to the synoptic page, the avionics monitors oxygen system status and will advise you through CAS messages of low pressure, passenger oxygen failure, oxygen activation while on the ground, or if the system is disabled while the aircraft is configured for takeoff. While it can literally be a lifesaver in an emergency, that high-pressure oxygen cylinder can also present a hazard if the tank is overpressurized for some reason, say because of exposure to high temperatures or an accidental misservicing. For this reason, burst discs are incorporated into the regulator. If cylinder pressure exceeds approximately 2,700 psi, the burst disc will open and the oxygen will be safely vented overboard through the fuselage to protect the cylinder from damage. We talked earlier about how the regulator reduces the tank's 1850 psi to 70 psi output. Should the low pressure side of this regulator fail for any reason, an inline relief valve is designed to open at 90 psi and vent the oxygen tank into the baggage compartment. There are several other important limitations that you should be familiar with when it comes to operation of your VisionJet's oxygen system. First, take note that there is a minimum dispatch quantity for the system. This is listed in the AFM as 1575 psi, but this is at standard atmospheric temperature of 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You will need to reference the fill pressure versus temperature table in the pilot's information manual for the appropriate dispatch pressure for the current ambient temperature. The oxygen tank must be serviced only with aviators breathing oxygen, complying with the mil-spec 0-27210. Other oxygen sources, such as medical oxygen, may contain moisture or other impurities which would render them inappropriate for use in an aircraft. Extended usage of passenger oxygen masks above 25,000 feet is not approved. The masks were designed for emergency use while the pilot descends to an altitude not requiring supplemental oxygen. You should also be aware that the time of available oxygen varies with altitude and the number of masks being operated. A chart in the pilot's information manual displays these times. You'll want to ensure that the quick-donning crew masks are properly stored in their containers when not in use. Otherwise, there's no guarantee that they will deploy within their designed, efficient time frame. And lastly, it's worth noting that eyewear, headsets, hats, and even hairstyles can interfere with the donning of the crew oxygen masks. Keep in mind that those items may have to be removed quickly in an emergency situation.